Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a statement that might shock you. Wealth is not an accident, and it's not reserved for the lucky few. Wealth is not something that randomly falls into someone's lap because they were at the right place at the right time. It is something that is studied, cultivated, and built deliberately, step by step over time. Think of the farmer in the field. He doesn't just wake up and hope that crops will grow. He studies the soil. He studies the seasons. He knows when to plant and when to harvest. He knows which seeds produce the greatest yield, and he invests his time and effort into mastering the process. In the same way, you must study the principles of wealth. It is not something you stumble upon, it's something you prepare for, something you design intentionally. And here's the key point. If your very life depended on your ability to create wealth, and in many ways it truly does, because your health, your family's well-being, your freedom, and your opportunities are all tied to resources, wouldn't you? Study it with a seriousness and urgency that most people never even consider. That's the mindset I want you to have. Treat wealth as a subject of life and death, because in the long run, your choices about money and resources will determine much of your life's direction. I've often said, and I'll say it again because it's worth repeating, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. Think about those words. Formal education is valuable. It can teach you to follow instructions, understand basic principles, and get a job. But it often stops there. Self-education, on the other hand, is where the magic happens. The key word in both is study. We study mathematics to solve problems. We study medicine to heal. We study engineering to build bridges and skyscrapers. But how many of us have truly, intentionally, and consistently studied the art of creating wealth? The truth is, most people spend far more time studying their favorite TV shows, keeping up with celebrity gossip, memorizing sports statistics, or scrolling endlessly on social media than they do learning the principles of financial freedom. They know the names of actors, but not the names of investors. They know the lyrics of songs, but not the language of money. This is why the gap between those who succeed financially and those who struggle often has less to do with opportunity and more to do with focus. Wealth requires study, not casual interest, but deliberate daily learning. Now, why should you study wealth like your life depends on it? Because it actually does. Wealth is far more than money. It's the power of choice. It's options. It's freedom. It's the ability to say yes to opportunities and no to situations that are not right for you. It's the ability to take care of your loved ones, to provide for your family, to help your parents retire with dignity, to send your children to schools where they can thrive, and to give to causes and communities that matter deeply to your heart. Without wealth, your intentions may be good, but your impact is often limited. Imagine wanting to feed the hungry but having no food, wanting to build a school but having no bricks, wanting to travel but having no ticket. Wealth is the tool that allows those dreams to become reality. Let me add this. When you are without resources, life can become a series of compromises. But when you study wealth, when you grow it deliberately, you move from surviving to thriving. Your life, your health, your happiness, all are affected by the resources you can command. I remember the first time I truly realized I was broke. It wasn't just my bank account, it was my mind. I was financially broke, yes, but I was also mentally broke. My dreams were big, but my knowledge was small. I wanted more out of life, but I had no map, no plan, and no clear understanding of how to get there. That's when my mentor sat me down and said something that changed the entire trajectory of my life. He looked me in the eye and said, "Jim, if you want to be wealthy, you must study wealth. Wealth is not found in wishful thinking. It's found in principles, disciplines, and actions." Those words hit me hard. It was a moment of truth. I realized I had been waiting for luck, hoping for a miracle, when what I needed was a system, a philosophy, and a commitment to learning. That was the day I became a student of wealth, not just curious, but dedicated, and I've never looked back. When I say study, I don't mean dabble, I mean go deep, really deep. Read books about finance, personal development, investing, entrepreneurship, and economics. Attend seminars, not just for motivation, but to learn strategies and principles that work. Seek out people who have done what you want to do and learn from them. Interview them if you can. Ask questions, observe. Don't just skim the surface. Dive in like a diver plunges into the depths of the ocean. Wealth is too important to treat lightly. Study like your life depends on it, because in many ways your future certainly does. The tragedy of modern society is that people will spend years studying how to earn a paycheck, how to satisfy a boss, how to stay employed, but they rarely study how to build independence and freedom. They focus on job security instead of financial security. But if you want a life that is not just lived but designed if you want to break free from financial stress, you must study with intensity. One of the first things you'll discover as you study wealth is this: wealth begins with philosophy. It's not just about numbers or budgets or bank accounts. It's about how you think. It's about your beliefs about money, value, and yourself. If deep down you believe that money is evil or that wealthy people are greedy, you will unconsciously push money away. If you believe you don't deserve wealth, or that it's only for the few, you'll sabotage your own progress without even realizing it. But if you believe wealth is a tool, if you believe it can be used for good, if you see it as a means to expand your life and help others, you will pursue it with energy and purpose. Your philosophy shapes your actions, and your actions create your results. That's why your first study should be internal. Study your mind, your beliefs, your attitudes. Ask yourself, what do I really think about wealth? What have I been taught? Is it helping me or hurting me? Here's a lesson I want you to remember. Success leaves clues. Wealth leaves clues. If you see someone living the life you want, don't waste time envying them. Study them. Take notes. Ask, what habits do they have? How do they think differently? What books are on their shelf? What conversations are they having? What sacrifices did they make to get where they are? Wealthy people are not a mystery. Their lives are open textbooks, waiting for a curious mind to read them. Instead of saying, they must have gotten lucky, ask, what can I learn? Watch their routines, observe their disciplines, learn from their mistakes and their wins. The truth is, if you study enough successful people, you will see patterns. And those patterns, when applied, produce results. And let's talk about one of the least glamorous but most essential parts of wealth: discipline. The word doesn't sparkle, but it shines in results. Discipline is doing what you know you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. It's choosing the long-term reward over the short-term pleasure. Study the discipline of saving, not just occasionally, but consistently. Study the discipline of investing, not just hoping, but learning strategies, risks, and rewards. Study the discipline of delayed gratification, being willing to wait for the bigger harvest. A small amount saved and invested regularly is more powerful than a large amount spent carelessly. Wealth is not built in moments of excitement. It is built in moments of discipline. And those who master discipline often master life. Another thing I want you to remember: study failure. Most people are afraid of failure. They run from it, hide it, and even feel ashamed of it. But failure, if you treat it right, is one of the best teachers you'll ever meet. Think about it. When a business collapses, there's a story behind it. Maybe it was poor planning. Maybe it was reckless spending. Maybe it was ignoring the market. Maybe it was arrogance or complacency. When an investment goes wrong, there's a lesson there about risk, about timing, about preparation. When you read stories of people who went broke after winning the lottery, you find that sudden money without wisdom often leads to disaster. Why? Because money without the right mindset is like water in a leaking bucket. It disappears fast. Most people are so afraid of looking bad or admitting mistakes that they never learn from them, or they bury their failures instead of studying them. But a wise student studies both sides of the coin. Success teaches you what to repeat. Failure teaches you what to avoid. Both are essential. If you want to become financially wise, sit down with your failures, write about them, analyze them, and extract lessons. Treat them like textbooks. They are full of chapters you can't find anywhere else. I often tell people treat wealth like a science. This surprises some because they think money is about luck or chance. But there are formulas, patterns, and principles that govern financial success just as surely as gravity governs the physical world. If you drop an apple, it falls whether you believe in gravity or not. In the same way, if you spend more than you earn, you will end up broke, no matter how positive your attitude is. If you save, invest, and compound wisely, wealth will grow over time. These are not random events, they are predictable outcomes. Wouldn't it make sense then to study these principles? To treat them like laws you cannot afford to ignore? The marketplace rewards those who understand its rules. When you learn about cash flow, debt management, assets versus liabilities, taxation, and leverage, or learning the mechanics of wealth, think like a scientist, experiment, observe, adjust, and refine. Test what works, discard what doesn't. Approach money with curiosity and discipline, and you'll find that results become less mysterious and more repeatable. Some say, but Jim, I'm too old. It's too late for me. My friend, let me assure you that is one of the biggest lies you can believe. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, yes, but the second best time is today. The clock is not your enemy. Procrastination is. Wealth does not require a perfect past. It requires a committed present. You may think you have missed the opportunities, but life is full of new seasons. I've seen people in their 60s start businesses. I've seen retirees learn investing and change their financial futures. I've watched grandparents create legacies that their children and grandchildren now enjoy. It's never too late to learn. Even if you can't build an empire, you can build stability, you can grow security, you can create freedom. Every step forward is better than standing still. The key is to start, not tomorrow, not next year, but now. Age does not disqualify you. In many ways, your experience can give you an advantage. Others say, but Jim, I don't have much to work with. That, my friend, is not a reason to quit. It's the very reason you must study wealth. If you have little, you can't afford to waste it. Every dollar becomes a soldier in your army, and your goal is to deploy them wisely. It's not about the size of your starting point. It's about the size of your vision and your willingness to learn. I've seen people turn a modest income into financial independence by saving small amounts, consistently, investing carefully, and refusing to live beyond their means. And I've seen high earners lose everything because they had no discipline, no plan, and no respect for money. The principle is this: what matters is not what you earn, but what you keep, grow, and multiply. Even a few dollars saved with discipline beats a paycheck spent carelessly. If you can learn to manage little, you'll be ready to handle more when it comes. I often tell the story of how I went from pennies to prosperity. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a magic trick, and it wasn't luck. It was a process, a study of habits, a study of philosophy, and a study of action. Every day I learned something new: how to think differently about money, how to spend wisely, how to invest, how to plan. Wealth is built the same way buildings are built, one brick at a time. A single decision to save, a single decision to invest, a single conversation with a mentor, a single book that changes your perspective. These things stack, and over time, they create a foundation strong enough to hold your dreams. And that's why I keep saying, if you want to change your fortune, change what you study and change what you practice. Look at your daily habits. Are they leading you to freedom or to bondage? Change the habits and you'll change the destination. Your library should be full of books on wealth, not just entertainment. Think of your mind as the soil and your ideas as seeds. Whatever you plant, that's what grows. If your shelves are full of gossip magazines, your mind will feed on gossip. If your shelves are full of strategies, biographies, and wisdom, your mind will grow strategies, biographies, and wisdom. Your conversation should be sprinkled with ideas. Ideas about money, value, service, and growth, not just complaints about the weather or the boss. Your weekend should sometimes include a seminar, a workshop, or a mastermind group instead of just another party or binge watch. Why? Because what you study shows up in your results, and results never lie. Your finances right now are a mirror of what you've learned and practiced so far. If you don't like the reflection, change what you're putting in. Feed your mind with wealth-building material, and your hands will find new ways to create wealth. Wealth is also about generosity. Study how to give. It seems counterintuitive, but one of the fastest ways to open the doors of prosperity is to become a giver. If your hands are always closed, nothing can get in or out. Giving is not just charity, it's a principle of circulation. When money moves through you to bless others, you become part of a flow that attracts more. This doesn't mean giving recklessly, it means giving wisely and intentionally. Support causes that matter. Help people in need. Invest in others' dreams. When you give, something happens inside you. You develop gratitude, humility, and a sense of abundance. And the world responds to that. Money tends to move toward those who use it well, who circulate it for good, and who understand that holding on too tightly can choke its flow. So learn to give as a practice, not just when it's easy, but when it stretches you. You'll find that wealth has a strange way of returning to the generous. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned was this: wealth is attracted to value. It's not simply about working harder or longer. It's about becoming more valuable to the marketplace, to people, and to the world. Think of it this way. Money is a certificate of value exchanged. When you provide something that others truly need, want, or appreciate, they are willing to exchange their resources for it. So what determines your income? It's not only your effort, but the value you bring. A person who flips burgers may work very hard, but someone who designs the systems, manages the operation, or creates the recipe of success brings a higher level of value and therefore is rewarded more. This is why I tell people, study how to make yourself more valuable, learn new skills, develop your communication or increase your knowledge, expand your ability to solve problems. The more problems you solve, the more doors open. Don't chase money, chase becoming indispensable, becoming someone who adds more than they take. When you chase value, money often chases you. Study the habits of wealth builders. Wealth doesn't come from luck, it comes from patterns, and those patterns are visible if you look closely. Wealth builders rise early, they plan their days with intention. They invest in themselves before they invest in the market. They avoid unnecessary debt because they understand that debt can rob tomorrow to pay for today. They track their spending, they budget, and they invest their money so it works for them even while they sleep. They are not seduced by every new shiny thing. They are disciplined, deliberate, and focused. And here's the key: they are students for life. They are reading, listening, attending, and observing. If you imitate their actions over time, you will begin to share in their results. It's not magic, it's method. The same way a pianist becomes skilled by daily practice, a wealth builder becomes wealthy by daily decisions. So study these people, follow their moves, understand their thinking, and slowly integrate their habits into your own life. Here's another insight that is often overlooked. Study timing. Opportunities do not last forever. They are like windows that open and close. If you're unprepared, the window can close before you even notice it was there. Wealth builders are like farmers. They study seasons. They know when to plant and when to harvest. They understand that there's a time to save and a time to invest, a time to expand and a time to wait patiently. Some investments require quick action, others reward patience. Timing can multiply your wealth or shrink it. And this is why study is so important. The more you learn, the better your instincts become. You begin to see trends earlier, you recognize patterns, you avoid mistakes others make because they were unaware of the season. Timing is not about luck, it's about preparation meeting opportunity. The better you are prepared, the more lucky you seem to others. But here's the catch. Knowledge without action is nothing. Don't just study, apply. The world is full of intelligent people who are broke. They have read the books, they can quote the authors, but their bank accounts do not reflect their knowledge. Why? Because they never moved from theory to practice. Reading about swimming will not keep you from drowning. You must get in the water. Listening to wealth-building principles will not make you rich. You must take action. Open the account. Make the investment. Build the business. Save the money. Apply, test, learn, adjust. Action creates feedback, and feedback creates growth. So yes, study wealth as if your life depends on it, but remember, study without application is only entertainment. The ones who change their lives are the ones who read a book and then do something with it. Study also your own mindset. Your relationship with money is deeply personal, shaped by your upbringing, your environment, and your culture. Some people grew up hearing that money is scarce, that it's hard to get, that only a few people are destined for it. Others were taught that rich people are dishonest, or that wanting more is selfish. These beliefs can sabotage you. They create invisible ceilings. You might earn more but spend it quickly because deep down you believe you don't deserve it. Or you may avoid opportunities because you fear failure. So examine your beliefs. Ask yourself, what do I really think about wealth? Am I afraid of it? Do I resent it? Do I believe it's for others but not for me? Upgrade those beliefs. Replace scarcity thinking with abundance thinking. Replace fear with responsibility. Money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies what's already there. When your mindset is healthy, you will treat money as a tool, not a master. A poor mindset will waste even a fortune, but a wealthy mindset will multiply even a small income. In the end, studying wealth is really studying yourself. The numbers, the books, the investments, they are all just reflections of the person you are becoming. Wealth is the evidence of habits, beliefs, decisions, and character. It's about becoming disciplined, generous, creative, and resourceful. It's about raising your standards, saying no to what doesn't serve you, and saying yes to growth. As you study wealth, you'll notice something fascinating the richer you become in knowledge. Discipline and character, the richer your external world tends to become. Because wealth doesn't just flow to bank accounts, it flows to people who are prepared to handle it. Wealth is just the scorecard. The real prize is the person you become on the journey. So make the study personal. Use every lesson to shape yourself into someone capable, confident, and kind. My challenge to you today is simple, yet powerful. Pick up a book, attend a seminar, listen to an audio, find a mentor. Study wealth like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Or do not leave your financial life to chance. Or don't just wish for wealth. Don't just talk about it. Learn it, practice it, master it. Take every opportunity to grow your mind, expand your skill, and sharpen your discipline. Remember, the future is coming whether you prepare for it or not. Why not meet it ready? When you study wealth deeply and consistently, you will not only change your bank account, you will change your habits, your mindset, your confidence, and your capacity to help others. The pursuit of wealth done rightly is a pursuit of growth. Take it seriously. Start today and watch as your world expands.